Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus Park. If this is your first time to the show, whatever podcast platform you're on, please like and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in. Aloha. Okay, this week I've been super excited to have this guy on my show. I've been a fan of his videos. I know people whose videos he captured of their kids competing in sports. He owns Shang Hi Media. Shang Ong, what's up? Thank you for coming on my show, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me, man. Honored for sure.
Yeah, I'm super stoked, and I finally got you in front of the camera this time since you've been behind it.
It's a rare occurrence, man. Honestly, like I never, I hate being in front of the camera. It's
Right
fun.
on. Well, I'm honored and stoked because I feel like your videos matter to a lot of people that I know personally. And let's just get into it, bro. Like your videos, how did you start getting into videography?
Um, well, let me see. I guess sports videography specifically. We were kind of one of my wife's good friends. His son played for Kuhuku. And before that, we were dabbling in photography. I was just doing photography and was thinking about doing like product forward stuff and just as a creative outlet, is always just a side hustle. And it's still a
Yeah.
side but one is a creative outlet. And then really was interested in the videography side because I've always kind of played around with video editing and making family videos, this and that. And then one of our friends asked us to, do some highlights for his kid because he wanted to watch. He didn't want to film, right? And he wanted to enjoy his son playing the sport, and he wanted to capture some coverage of him. So we went down there and we filmed everything from the stands. Started making some videos, and people just started to enjoy it, And from there, people would ask, and we got blessed and made some really good connections. Um, yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
That's super cool. Did you get any formal training or you just kind of taught yourself?
Straight YouTube, man. Straight YouTube.
Really?
YouTube. In fact, so my wife bought me my very first camera like years ago, and I just never really played around with it. It wasn't like the right thing. Like it wasn't the right timing for me, whatever. And then during COVID, again, I was looking for some creative outlet and ended up buying my first camera. And I was like, wow, okay, this is actually what I want it to look like. You buying that first piece of equipment, that's pretty good. And from there, when you can kind of see what you're seeing through the camera, then you really start to kind of hone in and you kind of start to understand the settings. And then from there, the storytelling. Um, yeah, but you learn from YouTube and friends and other people, things like that, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's super cool. I understand. I mean, this podcast was created because of COVID as an outlet and the no formal training University of YouTube is how a lot of people are getting their degrees in some stuff. And I would
100%.
have guessed you had like you took some classes and went because your stuff is super nice. When did you realize like okay, I kind of got a little bit of action in these videos to where it's like you're putting it out there. When did you know you had this skill?
Um, Honestly, I still feel like I'm like a small fish, I try to be I'm so impressed by everybody. But a lot of people inquire about our work, and then we've gotten made some really good connections. Um, I don't know. I think what we try to pride ourselves on is just that we try to do something a little different, It's not just
Yeah.
about the catch, it's not just about the play. Sometimes it's about the personality of the kid or the fun, the personality that people don't get to see. And then we also try to add a little narrative spin to some of our videos. And I think that's kind of what jumps out to a lot of people, when
Yes.
they see these videos with the narrative side to it. So, but I don't know. I think now that this side hustle has almost become like a full-time side hustle. Um, it's hard to say no and hard to slow down. You don't want to because, like you said, the kids enjoy it. We love making it for the kids. We love making it for the parents, for the community, and that kind of thing. So
Yeah. And I agree. Like I watch your videos and the capturing the moments before the moment has been what really got me to fall in love with your work and seeing those types of shots anybody like everybody will have the touchdown. Everybody will have like the super cool score or point or action, but you capture like a feeling of what these kids are going through before the game or with each other or after the game. Like those, like you said, it becomes a story and it becomes art because not many videos that I see capture all those kind of things, and it's pretty cool, and it grabs you. And
Yeah.
that stuff you just learned on YouTube, or like you kind of just had that in you and you wanted to capture.
Maybe I mean, through YouTube, when you learn to master the camera, right? You through YouTube you learn to master the technical aspect of it. And then once you get comfortable with that, everything just kind of moves out of the way. And then people throw around the word cinematic a lot, but I really feel like what that means to me is just offering a different perspective that not everybody always gets to see. And
Yeah.
of course, getting the touchdown is important. You got to get that shot, and that takes a skill and a technique all in and of itself. And a lot of it is really luck too. But, but, but that, like you said, that ability to build up and show that other side, just having that opportunity is special. And I think that's what the kids want too. They, of course, they, some of these kids will move on to college or, maybe even the pros. But some of them really, this is like that one moment that's gonna possibly be a very, very important moment in their life,
Yeah.
and they don't want to be the only one that remembers it, and the parents are gonna remember it forever, and they want to be able to watch it over and over again and relive that moment and escape whatever's kind of troubling them in that moment with through
Yeah.
hopefully sports, and that's kind of what it means to a lot of people. So, you know,
I definitely agree, and I try to capture as much as I can of my daughter, but I'll get into that eventually because I got a whole ton of questions. But okay, I want to take this short break from talking to Shang Hi Media and shout out our sponsor, Defend Hawaii. They've been our sponsor since the beginning. I just want to let you know that they got some new stuff coming out right now. If you go to their website, defendhawaii.com, see what they have, go in the cart. If you use ATB pod upon checkout, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase. Defendhawaii.com. They also have a store in Winter Mall called Noan, so go out there, check it out. Aloha. You capturing these films, do you have you ever felt like, or has it ever happened where you miss a cool shot or you miss the important moment?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That used to be one of my disclosures, like to people that would hire me. I always tell them like, well, just to let you know, I do miss shots, sometimes, and I'm only human, and sometimes, maybe a ref will block me or something like that, or
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, no shade against the refs, but whatever, and sometimes you miss a shot, and um, I think there's just no way around it. You
Yeah.
gotta forgive yourself for that and hope that, the parent or the athlete will forgive you for that too, so
Yeah, I always thought about that, like, oh, if you miss, because I missed some shots, and then my daughter would ask me, like, oh, did you get that play? Or it's like, yup. And then I look, I'm like, oh, I did it. And
exactly.
it's super disappointing, but uh how hard is it for you to get the shot and also be present in what you're doing? Because it's a live event. You got to kind of do both. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%, and I think that's kind of, um one way to avoid missing shots is you just really always have to be on, you always got to be on, even in between. Like I said, sometimes people are just interested in capturing the play, when
Yeah.
the play is happening for football or volleyball or any of that kind of action. But the most important parts are when you're kind of watching things happen, looking for movement. I always, and kind of moving around, and putting yourselves in a position to kind of almost visually see the play happening before it even happens and then say, okay, I think it's gonna come this way, or maybe they're gonna set it and spike it this way, or this person's been real active. So, and again, a lot of it is luck, but you're right. I think you really gotta discipline yourself to be on and not get distracted through conversations, because you're on the sideline and you're talking to other videographers or other athletes and this and that, and or sometimes you just are distracted by the game itself. You know,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
these athletes are incredible. And you're just like, oh, that actually happened. But sometimes you really just gotta force yourself to just bear down and like just have the camera available and visually see like even just the turn of a head or a look from somebody can turn into a shot that people are just going to be like, whoa, that gave me like goosebumps or chicken skin, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of where
Yeah.
that's at.
I can imagine it. Your hard drives just from one game must be loaded to go through all those clips.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, no joke. We shoot 4K, 120
Oh,
frames per second. So yeah, these files are large and I try to keep the footage for as long as I can. But yeah, they're definitely filling up some hard drive space. Yeah.
do you create your videos? Do you kind of plan things out, or is most of it instinctual, where it's like on the fly and then you create that story, or you kind of have a template in your head going into it before you start?
Um, Honestly, everything happens just organically, like, unless it's like a narrative piece. If it's a narrative piece, I'm really like we plan it out and we talk about how it's gonna go. We storyboard. But when it comes to a game, you never know what's gonna happen, and you never know the kind of energy that you're gonna get from the athlete or the team or the crowd. And so, the way I've always kind of thought about it is like I'm writing when I'm when I'm shooting, okay, what no, sorry. When I'm editing, I'm kind of writing the story. All right. And the story can only be made up from the words that I collect during the game. So during the game when I'm filming, I'm just collecting as many different words as I can, a big variety, whether it be plays or it be smiles or angry laughs, words, coach speeches, whatever. I'm just trying to collect everything. And then when I come home, I put all my words out in front of me and then I piece it all together to create the story. And a lot of it is inspired through, again, what happens that day, the energy that I'm feeling, or the song that we choose, and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it ain't easy. I mean, your work, it seems like it takes a lot of work. If you were to kind of hone in your skills, like, is there like a community, like you said earlier, if you are shooting, there's a lot of videographers next to you. How do they react with you? Are they open to share information? Are they like is the community and the culture kind of uplifting, or is it like, I'm gonna just keep to myself and not share secrets, or are they trying to open up their playbook and kind of help you as well?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's so open. We've been blessed in Hawaii, especially, to have this community that supports each other, watches each other's videos, and shouts each other out, and really celebrates. Like they don't want to bring anybody down. And when somebody's doing good, it's only going to make their business do better too. People are going to want to see more of that, and everybody has a different style. So
Yeah.
we try not to gatekeep, and of course, some things you kind of keep close to your hip, but for the most part, everybody is sharing and everybody's supporting each other, and it's an awesome feeling to have that for sure.
Wow, that makes me happy. I'm a firm believer of rising tide floats all boats, and
Yeah,
giving someone else shine or information is never gonna dampen your shine or take away from whatever you're doing. Like, helping somebody else will always be beneficial to everybody. So I'm glad that's the kind of culture
yeah,
that videography has, because I could see people not sharing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
say, I don't
I
want your
mean,
video better than mine one, you know what I mean?
right, exactly. And I mean, it's cool because I'm probably one of the oldest people on the field, when I'm filming, and a lot of these videographers, they're high schoolers, and it's cool to be able to relate to them, and they can relate to what we do on that kind of creative level. It
Oh,
it
that's
tran transcends age, and it's all just purely creativity, and
yeah.
that's what we all kind of are just stoked on, just be able to watch each other's videos and see what they came up with and see what they did different, and that kind of thing. So
Oh, that's cool. Have you got a chance to learn from some of these young kids, like high school kids? Did they ever teach you some cool stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. You know, I mean, and sometimes it's not even asking for a tip or how they do that. You know, it's just through watching them. You know, and sometimes when you get to know their personality, you get inspired even more. You know, you become friends with them, and you know how they treat other people or the athletes, and then you're just like, dude, you know what? I want to be like that person more. You know, so
Yeah.
and that just makes their video even more enjoyable. You know, so
That's
yeah.
super cool. How much pressure do you feel like getting these shots when you're on the sideline? Like, is it kind of relaxed or you're pressured out to where, oh man, I gotta lock in super hard?
Uh, it depends. It depends. You know, sometimes, and again, it's honestly not even me. You know, it's really just the athletes. Sometimes I feel bad. Like I feel like the athletes put a lot of pressure on themselves because when they have a camera on them, they feel like they got to perform differently or like something like that. You know, and when that happens, they get in their head. But for me, I just really let things kind of happen organically, you know. And again, I have to forgive myself when I do miss a shot or something like that. I just try to really just be like a fly on the wall. I don't want anybody even really to. I don't want to draw a lot of attention to myself, you know. I want to just be there to make sure that when that moment happens, I'm ready, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
catching it. But as far as pressure goes, I don't know if there's I don't know if I want to call it a pressure. You know, I of course I want to make sure I put the best video together, and I want to make sure I get that big play for the athlete or the client. But um, we've been blessed too to be hired by some really good families, some good schools, communities that you know they're just like, you know what, whatever you get, you know, and they
Yeah.
understand that too. It's a fluid it's a fluid event, you know, and they understand that not everything's going to get captured. You
Yeah.
know? Not like a wedding. Like a wedding, people are like, "You gotta get that
Oh
first,"
yeah.
you
I
know?
just got married in July and I would have hated to be the wedding coordinator for my wife because she was like pressuring everybody out.
And she should be, you know, that's a moment
Yeah.
that's gotta be captured, you know, whereas football, I mean, sports in general, those moments are big, but, you know, hopefully you'll get the next one, you know, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I think a big aspect is sharing your videos and the community responses that I've been seeing. Cause I seen your videos from people I know sharing them. And I'm like, wait, that's the guy. That's the I follow him on Instagram. And they the I can only speak from what I've experienced, and that was the Kailua football team who became state champs.
Mm.
And a lot of the family of the players, I know them personally, and I would see them sharing your videos, but that whole community was so proud of that team and what you captured for that team. How has it been in the community, like, to inspire these people and get those shots that these kids, like you said, will remember forever? Like, it's been pretty cool just for each individual community and families.
Dude, it's such an honor. I mean, like I said, it's really not even me. It's just these athletes, and that's what sports does. You know, it really can create a community and bring people together and make them proud of the name of their alma mater or just their kid that's on the team, whatever it is. You know, and so just having that opportunity to capture it is special. Um, and yeah, we're stoked that they love it and that they can feel some pride behind it and
Yeah.
just cherish it, you know, because we cherish that opportunity. So
Yeah, and it's cool to see, and it definitely, like, your videos did have a lot of depth to where it's like, oh, you watch it, you get chicken skin, and it's like, wow, that really did tell a story, and kind of it wasn't just a live action shots.
yeah. I mean the way we look at it too is you know, every video that we do, we try to consider it as like as a job interview, you know. We want
Yeah,
to impress every single person, every single client or every community that's going to watch it. We want them to just be completely immersed and just love it and not even think like, "Whoa, that was a cool edit." You know, we want them to just be like how are these humans doing these things, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's the thing, you know, or so it's a lot of fun.
yeah. I can imagine. And has any of these videos opened doors for some of these athletes? Any of your videos personally?
I mean, I don't want to take credit for it. We do think we like to hope or we like to pray that sometimes the video can help in maybe some intangible ways. Hopefully, it will help in getting eyes on the kid. That's our main thing, is just, getting this um exposure out so that maybe a coach will see it and want to dive deeper into their game and hopefully get them some recruiting. But the intangibles we hope is that um maybe it'll give the athlete a little bit more confidence. Maybe they'll walk around school and just be like, I got a little bit more swag. People are like, I saw your video on Instagram, that was
Yeah.
hot, this and that. And they're just feeling good about themselves, and hopefully that will make them perform better on the field too, or just feel better, just feel a little bit of confidence in themselves. And we're hoping that that's what the videos will
Yeah.
do. Don't want to take credit for anything, of course, you know what I mean? So yeah.
How what kind of programs do you use to edit? I just interested because I use Final Cut um for my podcast, as well as when I try to edit some stuff for my friends' dive videos or my daughter's volleyball videos. What programs do you use?
I use Final Cut Pro as well.
Oh, okay.
I was like an iMovie kid back in the day, and then Final Cut Pro was always just too much, and then again dove into YouTube and wanted to figure out how to do it. And now that I know Final Cut Pro, it's hard to transition out of it. I know that in the professional world, they always say that Final Cut Pro is like more on the lower scale, but
Yeah.
honestly, it can do everything that it can, and I love the system. It's fast, it works for me, and I don't really work in a big team of people, so Final Cut Pro really does everything I need it to do. So I use that as my editing software for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And you kind of was self-taught as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
super
all
cool.
all YouTube, man. You just search. Sometimes I'm like, okay, how do I do that? I'll watch a video and I get inspired, and then okay, how do I do that? And I'll search it up, find a YouTube video that explains it, and even if it's not with Final Cut, you can kind of understand your tools to figure out how to emulate or do something similar to
Yeah.
what they did in DaVinci or Premiere Pro or something like that. Yeah.
That's super cool. I've been noticing too, and because I use Final Cut Pro, I know the time it takes and stuff like that. And then I'll see some of these people coming out, like some of these families come out or kids come out with cool videos that were edited on CapCut. And I mean, it makes me feel some kind of way. It's like, you don't know how to edit, or it's like you didn't put in the work. But their stuff looks cool. Like, how has that been with you? Like, or do you get accused of using Final Cut? I mean,
No,
CapCut.
no, no. I think again, it really just comes down to what are their impressions of the video? Are people impressed by what it does, whether it be through CapCut or Final Cut or DaVinci or iMovie even or whatever it is. It's everybody has a different tool to create their own vision. Um, so I don't ever throw shade on anybody who uses anything. And whether they're starting off or they're seasoned, they've been doing it for much longer than me. Whatever they're going to start with or learn to share what they're seeing, I'm all about it. I'm cool with
Yeah,
that. I like that. And it's with technology today, it's crazy how much easier things are getting. Like even the cameras that we use. You can put it in the hands of a lot of people, and there's a technical aspect, but compared to what it was maybe 10 years ago, people really, really had to understand how to do there was manual focus only, maybe or something like that.
yeah,
Autofocus is so good. You can put in the hands of a beginner and they'll probably get a shot in focus. So the way technology is, it's just gonna get easier, and there's just gonna everybody has their own creativity. Everybody wants to share what they see.
yeah,
So these tools are meant to just kind of help drive the marketplace and drive the creative world so that it'll push me,
yeah.
and the seniors who have been doing it for 30 plus years to change up and do something a little different.
That makes sense. With technology coming out, AI is becoming pretty huge in everything. Are you able to have AI help you with any of this stuff?
I haven't, and it's not because I'm resistant, but I still feel like I'm kind of learning. Um, I still Wait, sorry. I still feel like I'm learning on how to um I still feel like I'm learning on how to just use the technology that's in front of me, you know.
Yeah.
AI is incredible. One of my buddies is like a pioneer in it. I love watching what he's doing, but and I can totally see, and I have seen it in the sports media world, but I feel like I haven't dabbled into it just yet because I'm still just kind of buried into this, and I'm not resistant to it. I think it's great, but I just haven't had a chance to learn it yet.
Yeah. When you're making these videos, what is your time frame? Like, I mean, it probably varies, but on the average, how long does this stuff take you, man? How much time of your day are you spending doing this?
I'm honestly slow. I'm slow compared to some other people out there. Um, I don't know if you've seen like this guy named Speedsta or this guy named Shoot a Sav, but those guys and those guys kick edits out in like the same day, and
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
so blown away by that. But I'm usually like, I usually say about 7 to 10 days I can get an edit out. And for football, I usually try to get the edit out before their next game.
Yeah.
Uh, it takes time because sometimes finding the song can take me 2 days, just finding the right audio, the right music that portrays the emotion that I want in the game in the video that can take a lot of time. And then of course you got to go through all the footage. I watch all the things that I captured all over again, just so I can make sure I don't miss something. And again, it could just be the turn of a head that I'll be like, okay, that's a smooth shot, and I'll keep that. So
Oh,
it's all
that's
part of the
super cool.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. That's super cool. And I guess so what else do you do other than your videos?
Um, So my day job is I work in like hospitality. I work for Hilton Grand Vacations, but
Oh,
I'm
nice.
get to work from home. It's not glamorous at all, but um the video stuff has just become something that we're really proud of, and we're blessed that it can help to, you know, subsidize, and people can enjoy it, and people want to continue to hire us, and yeah, we're lucky that way.
Okay, I want to take a short break. Shout out our sponsor, iRep Detail Supply. They're your one-stop shop superstore for everything you need to detail your vehicle. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center in Kahalu. They also have one in Las Vegas. Their staff is amazing. They know everything you need to know about their products and how you can detail your car with them. Also, go to their website, irepdetailsupply.com, promo code ATBPodupon. Check out 15% off your entire purchase order. iRep Detail Supply. Aloha. How many times have you upgraded the cameras, lenses, and all this stuff since you started?
Oh man, my wife sees this, she'll put me on blast, bro. It's funny, like I'll buy a camera and be like, "Hey, babe, this is for you," because honestly, she's become more involved in it too. In fact, she's at a photo shoot right now for this trainer that we normally
Nice.
work with. So it's fun that we get to kind of share that. But definitely the camera has seen a few different iterations, and more money than I'd like to admit has been spent, but we're always inspired, and sometimes the vision that you have um requires gear, and I'm a gearhead. I could talk about gear like all day,
Oh, nice.
but um, but when you land on the thing that you want, again, the camera should be there just to excuse me, should be there just to kind of get out of your way, and you just to be able to create what you see and tell that story. You know.
Yeah, I see some of these people that are like just family with lenses that probably can see Mars. And I was like, how much is that? I have this little camera and yeah, it can get pricey.
It can, and I think that's one thing for a lot of like beginners. They feel like, oh man, my videos suck because I don't have this or I don't have that. But I think that's something that I would urge everybody to kind of like talk themselves out of, and I know that FOMO, to think like, oh man, I need that lens. The only way I'm going to do it is this, and I know I just said that really, but really, I think um, having the best camera you have is the best camera is the one that you have on you. Whether it be your iPhone or your camera that's $5,000 or your camera that's $200. That camera that you have is going to be the very best one that you have in your hands. So,
Yeah. It's pretty cool. These iPhone cameras been getting crazy. Like they're you can get some pretty cool stuff just with your phone. Uh,
oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
with social media how it is now, it gives you a broad audience. Like your videos can be seen everywhere now. And most of these videos are geared for social media. How much has social media played into your popularity or you getting your name out there?
It's really our only marketplace, honestly. It's huge, and we're blessed that, you know, some accounts will help to share our videos, like ESPN Honolulu or
Yeah.
things like that. And when you can kind of piggyback on their audience, a lot more people get to see the videos, and hopefully they'll kind of recognize like, oh, that's Shanghai Media's logo, or that looks like a Shanghai Media video, or this and that, and they'll kind of um follow along, and we're blessed, that we've got an incredible audience that have supported us. But
Yeah.
100% Instagram um is like pretty much our only marketplace. Like, I don't do any YouTube even. We don't do long format. Everything is short. Everything is not everything is vertical. But we do other things too, but for the most part, as far as getting our name out there, it's all social media.
Yeah. You get excited when you're about to drop a video. I know I do. It's like, oh, here it goes, and just
Oh yeah.
excited to see how people react to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get so excited for it, and when it's I try not to base the success of the video on how many views it gets. 'Cause a
Yeah.
lot of people can fall into that too, where, like, "Oh, it only got 100 views, that video sucked," but honestly, it's not. I try not to fall into that. If the video, like, I'm proud of it, if I did something different, or I got an incredible play, whether it gets 100 views or it gets 1,000 views, whatever it is, then, I'm, like, totally stoked on it. Of course, I want the client, the athlete, the parent, the school to be stoked on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get really, really excited to share it with people. Yeah.
That's super cool. That's great because I know people who do videos and stuff, and they're constantly refreshing, seeing how many likes, and it becomes like that. Are you doing it for the likes, or are you doing it to share your art? And what you're doing is art, and it's crazy to think how much it's available to people now to capture and also to kind of consume the content because of social media. Hopefully, with social media, like it gets you more recognition, not just here in Hawaii. Like your stuff, you could do stuff for NFL and stuff like that. It'd be kind
Oh,
of cool to see if is any of that kind of your goals in the future, or are you kind of more locally based?
well, I mean, don't get me wrong, if NFL called and said they wanted to do something, I would probably just say, for sure. But I think our
On my way.
yeah, yeah. Um, our main goal, and the thing I think that has kept us grounded and successful, is just that, being able to support the local community. We want to support the local athletes, at the youth level. Whether they're high school or Pop Warner, whatever it is, or even the local trainers. That train out here. They're Hawaii is just crazy. Hawaii is crazy when it comes to sports, and we want to make sure that the world knows that, and
Yeah.
they see these kids, and they see what the trainers out here are doing, and the communities out here, how they support their people. So that's kind of big. That's the biggest thing for me. um it's hard to even move up into like the college level, because
Yeah.
we want these kids from their direct communities, and to show how they kind of stand by each other, and how they play, so it's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's super cool. What would be let's see, what would be the hardest sport to shoot in your opinion?
um Probably hockey. I
Oh,
play
shoot.
I play inline hockey, and I've tried to film it before, and
Okay.
it's so tough because like, the puck is really small and it moves so fast. um and you're shooting through like barriers, so whether it be a netting or it be a plexiglass something, and there's bars, that kind of stuff can make it really, really difficult. Yeah, that's probably what the hardest part would be.
I wasn't expecting that. I can totally agree because would watch hockey and I would get so confused. I would just see everybody skating around and all of a sudden everybody's hands are up and I'm like, "What happened? They scored." I'm like,
Right.
"Ah." It's
Yeah.
what would be your most favorite sport to shoot?
I gotta say football. I gotta say football. Just because there's just something different, it's just something different about walking onto the field with the lights on, the atmosphere, the energy, and again, no shade against basketball, volleyball, baseball. We shoot it all, and my daughter
Yeah.
plays water polo, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, we love filming her play water polo. It's so exciting. But football just hits a little bit different for some reason, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You're right, it's the lights, even the gear, like putting on like you're putting on armor and you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
just there's a lot of opportunities for some cool looks.
you're right, you're
Like
right.
clicking on your helmet, yeah, all that stuff is just made for videography.
Yeah, and when they nail a good play, and they get a big catch or a big run or there's a big block or something like that, and you get that on your camera, you feel just like I just could throw my hands up there like I'm done. This is amazing. That was the shot right there, and you feel so
Yeah.
good about it. So, we're always constantly like walking on the sidelines and asking the video, "Did you get that shot? Did you get that?" And, we're comparing each other's shots. We're like, "Oh, yours is better," So it's
That's
exciting to
super
kind of see
cool.
that. Yeah.
And what, these kids play up to you since they know you're filming?
Some are more low key, and I respect that. I never like force anybody to do anything, but some of them, like when I've like for example, Waipahu. I don't know if you've seen any of our Waipahu stuff, but we've been filming for Waipahu for the past like 3 years now, and so, you get to know some of the athletes and, you can talk to them on the sidelines, and I'll be like, "Hey, you get a touchdown, find my camera," and so
Yeah.
they kinda run to you or they'll look at the camera and they're excited to celebrate their touchdown or whatever it was, and that's a cool emotion, that's a great the passion that they have, for what they just did is something that we really wanna make sure we capture too, you know?
That's super cool. Growing up, were you an athlete yourself?
No,
Oh.
absolutely not. No, yeah, no, actually, I only played inline hockey, like, growing up, and that wasn't even for my school, you know? I went to watch a few football games, and again, I never really, like I've always enjoyed sports, but I
Yeah.
never, like, dove deep into it, and now my wife and I, it's funny, we'll talk about, like, the high school breakdown about, like, "Oh my gosh, how did Kahuku go how did they beat them, or how did they beat Kahuku?" We're constantly analyzing, the high school level sports, and, it's like we ask ourselves constantly, like, "Are we like everybody else in Hawaii, or are we different?" Like, do people talk about high school sports like we do? So,
You guys are
yeah,
fans. You guys
we're
became
fans.
fans.
Oh, we're
That's
huge
super
fans.
cool.
We're huge fans, yeah. Yeah, when
So
you get to
how it
the athletes. Oh, go ahead, go
that's
ahead.
yeah, that's super cool. And yeah, all these kids have stories and goals and dreams. And yeah, once you get connected to them, like you're wanting to see them succeed and you're wanting to
Everything,
capture
100%.
those moments. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Your daughter, you just said, is playing water polo. How excited is she to get on these videos and be part of what you're doing?
Uh, she's that teenager kid that's, like, a little too cool for school, you know what I mean? Sometimes,
Oh, okay.
she'll be like, "Ah, dad, don't point the camera at me, blah, blah, blah," but I know that her and her friends, well, not that I know, I hope that their friends can look back on it later and be really excited and happy that we captured their games and this and that, and,
Yeah,
um she's new to the sport. She's new to the sport, so, anytime that she gets in there, of course, I wanna try and get a little bit of footage on her, but I try not to make it just about her and spread it
yeah.
out throughout the team so that she doesn't feel kinda singled out or spotlighted, this and that. So, how
That's
about your
water
daughter? Does
polo's
she enjoy
oh,
it?
yeah, one thing about my daughter is she likes to critique her gameplay. So she likes my videos just so she can kinda correct her mistakes.
Awesome.
And then, of course, she'll watch her highlights a million times. And I try to capture, like, everything. I try to get a little bit of a, cinematic, but it never comes out as cool as I think it is. But, um, like, talking about water polo, that sport is blowing up, and it's becoming a lot of colleges are kinda recruiting for it now. What grade is your daughter?
She's a freshman now. She's a
Oh,
freshman.
wow.
She started playing. She goes to Kamehameha.
Oh,
She goes-
nice.
And so she started when she was in the seventh grade. She started playing when
Oh,
she was in
okay.
seventh grade. Made just a amazing group of friends that they're all teammates, and that's what sports does too, It
Yeah.
really kind of connects people. But she's been playing, and yeah, water polo is such an exciting sport that doesn't get enough recognition, because it's hard to play it because it requires a pool,
Yep.
and um, that kind of thing, But in Hawaii, it's such a cool, fun sport to kind of highlight,
Yeah.
So
It's nuts. You don't see what goes on under the water. For one thing, you got to be treading water just to keep afloat, but that takes a lot of endurance.
yeah, no, that's true. It's the treading the water, but like you said, it's what happens under the water that nobody sees. There's a battle under there. They're
Oh, yeah.
they're like it's legit. I mean, they're out there scrapping. What I mean, and they're jockeying for position and I mean these kids are strong. These kids
Yeah.
are whether they're male or female. They're strong athletes that take a lot of pride in representing their team. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. They're water polo and now girls flag football has been getting huge. Like my daughter is gonna play this year for the first time ever,
Nice.
and she's on the varsity team for Leisure Dawn. And I'm thinking like this is getting pretty popular quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you been shooting some of the flag football stuff as well?
Yeah, definitely. We want to see that grow. I'm a father of daughters, like myself, I got two daughters. So I love to see female sports growing and a sport like football, like more football, the better for me. I mean, like whether it
Yeah.
be tackle or be flag. So we love to support that. And again, it's I'm seeing a lot of these athletes that are competing in the high school flag football teams now, they've actually been playing since they were little kids, and
Yeah.
they got like legit skills, like there's this one girl named Brady that plays for Moana Lua, and her and her sister are just like elite athletes, Brady plays tackle football, so she's a
Oh.
female playing tackle football with the boys. She
Oh,
played
wow.
JV for Moana Lua last year, and I think she's a freshman this year too. So, just yeah, we'd love to see that sport grow and be a part of it and get people's names out there. And there's some really great organizations out here that are pushing it. So
Yeah.
we're all for it. Yep.
Okay, I want to take a short break to shout out Medicinal Mushrooms Hawaii. They're one of our sponsor. They're your locally based medicinal mushroom company. And right now they have 5 tinctures of extracted mushrooms. They have lion's mane, chaga, red reishi, turkey tail, and cordyceps. And if you go to their website, medmushroomhigh.com, it'll explain to you exactly what each and every one of these mushrooms' medicinal properties do. I take all 5 religiously. I take the lion's mane, chaga, and turkey tail in the morning with my coffee when I get up. I take the red reishi at night to go to sleep. And I take the cordyceps before workout as a pre-workout. Medmushroomhigh.com. If you use promo code ATBPod upon checkout, all capital letters, you'll get 45% off your first tincture of mushrooms. So give them a look. Medmushroomhigh.com. Aloha. How easy is it for you to get on these sidelines? You got to get a press pass or whatever, or just hold your camera and walk on the field.
It's tough. It's tough. You really,
Oh,
it does require credentials to get on.
okay.
Because I mean, the athletic directors are there to protect the kids,
Yeah.
for any sport. And football is probably the hardest, because not only is it safety for the athletes and protecting their privacy and, things like that, but it can be dangerous for people who are on the field who don't know what's happening, who are maybe like aren't paying attention, So
Yeah.
we're lucky that we can, develop relationships and network with people that they see our videos and they've seen the way we hold ourselves on the field and behave, that they trust us, so
Yeah.
we're- yeah, and a lot of kids, that's probably the biggest barrier for somebody coming in that wants to shoot football, is they'll always ask, hey, how do I get access, how do I go, how can I get on the field to shoot that game too, because shooting from the stands is fine. You know, you can get some really great shots from the stands, but being on the field just adds a different dynamic. You know that, and again, that cinematic essence is being able to offer something that the audience can't normally see on their own.
Yeah. So
So
you kind of basically have to get a press pass then,
pretty much, yeah, you really
credentials
have
or whatnot.
to be able to, yeah, be able to get authorization and credentials from somebody to get on the field to shoot.
Yeah. Is there any sport that you haven't shot that you kind of interested in doing?
Let me see here. I mean, everything. I'm sure I can't really think of things because I feel like we've shot a lot of different sports,
Yeah.
some of the major ones. But huh.
Any
I
fight
mean,
stuff?
never like a live event. Never like a live
Oh,
event. I've shot some like boxing training, some jujitsu kind of stuff, but
yeah.
never like at a live match. So I've done wrestling, I've done live wrestling.
Okay.
But yeah, that actually would actually be something really, maybe some MMA or boxing. I never shot like tennis. I was just thinking I've never really shot tennis, which
Oh,
look pretty cinematic too and things like that, so
you gotta have a
anything
quick
where there's
quick movements for that
right,
one.
and there's a lot of passion, they score a slam, there's usually a yell or something like that. So but yeah, I think fight stuff actually would be really, really interesting for us.
Okay, I could
Yeah,
probably figure that out, maybe give you some opportunities. That
yeah.
would be kind of cool. Is there any like motivation for you to shoot other stuff other than sports?
Yeah, I mean, we anything to really tell a story,
Okay.
we have shot weddings. I would love to be able to shoot some kind of, I always talk about like a short film or something like that, but again, I
Oh,
have no idea where to even start, and we shoot some narrative things for a clothing company called Thankful. So we're really blessed to be able to do creative stuff with them. Um, so, I have interest in doing all that, and I'm open to it if somebody were to approach me. But we really do love working in the sports space as well. That we don't I don't ever get bored of it.
yeah,
Any sporting event just feels like a whole nother, and I get butterflies in my stomach before every single game, and
yeah.
driving there, and then when you're arriving to the field or the court, I get a little nervous, so that's a good feeling to have.
Yeah, and it's never gonna be the same. It's always gonna be different.
Yeah.
Wedding stuff, I feel like could get repetitious. It's I for my wedding, I experienced, and I didn't even know it was a thing until I got married, was the same day edit. Like, we literally watched our video of us getting married at our wedding, and I'm thinking, "How does this work out?" Yeah, it's wild. That's like some editing talent.
Right. I mean, that's definitely a recipe, right? They probably know exactly, okay, this is we're gonna start here, show this and this, and then so they kind of have an idea of what it's gonna look like. And I think that's what's great about weddings is that you can have a recipe and it can be repetitious, I guess, about in that regards. But when you see a wedding video that's not like every other wedding video, that's like that kind of excites me.
Yeah,
See these guys doing something a little bit different. Um, you know, and again, no shade against the guys that do have a recipe,
yeah.
that works, and people want that. The wedding couple really wants that. They want to see it on the wedding day. But it's cool to see when there's something a little bit different being done in a wedding video or things like that.
That's kinda cool if they gave you free range, and most brides won't, but if they were to give you a free range, like, creative control, then and you could kinda come up with your own ideas, that would be kinda cool to see, but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one you can't mess up.
yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometimes I think, um, again, it's a lot of communication through you and the client or whatever it is, and that's what we do through our narrative stuff too. I'm constantly through our like Waipahu narrative videos. I'm talking to coach, like, coach, what do you think about this? Is this possible? Can we get into this space and film this? So, you don't want to like just show up and be like, okay, we're gonna do this time. There's a lot of communication, and we try to be respectful in that regard, and not push the boundaries too far, but you know,
Yeah.
do something creative that they can be stoked on, you know? So,
That's super cool. Free time, when you have free time, what kind of interests you and what do you like to do on the free time?
oh gosh. Oh my god, this is gonna sound so bad, but honestly, if I'm not working my day job, I'm like shooting or I'm editing, you know, or I'm with my kids. We love to. Me and my family, we do love to travel. I work for Hilton for a reason. It does provide a
Yeah.
lot of good travel opportunities. We love to be able to see the world. I love my dogs. I love playing with my dog. I'm a simple guy, honestly. I love food, and that's kind of where we're at.
Do you shoot a lot of your travel? Make travel videos and stuff like
On
that?
it, it's so weird because we shoot it, but then when we get home, we immediately are working on like, our jobs, so sometimes that passion project or the things that you collected has to take a back seat, and then you don't really ever get to it sometimes,
Yeah.
which I think I need to do better for myself. I need to make sure I take a break and work on those things so that I can remember those memories myself, and
Yeah.
encourage other videographers to not burn themselves out because again, like you said, it's a creative field that I'm constantly trying to think of a different way to express, and that can really be taxing sometimes. You really got to be able to say, okay, I need to just decompress this time and not going to edit anything today. What I mean? Something like that. So,
Does it ever become tedious where it's like, "Oh, I gotta edit this video," and, like or it's like you're more excited to do it?
um I don't wanna admit it, but sometimes you can, like, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I have so many eds that I gotta catch up on." But as soon as
Yeah.
you get into a flow state, once you get to that flow state, you can't stop, you're addicted to that vision and how you're gonna show it, or you once if I got a crazy shot at a game or I got a crazy, um, thing that I really wanna share, you're just super excited to kinda get working on that footage. Sometimes though, you really gotta like just buckle down and put yourself in front of that computer and force yourself to get into that flow state so that you can can work. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow, I am so gonna have my wife listen to that part right there about flow state because
yeah.
I don't know if it happens to you. This is gonna be one of the biggest questions is how annoying is it to be interrupted when you're in that flow state?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot, bro. My wife can't see this either, man. Um, it's hard, it's hard, and because like you said, when sometimes you're working on one clip that can take an hour, to finish to what you're trying to do with that one clip, um, and yeah, so when you're locked in that flow state, you don't want to get out of it. But I do try to make sure that my family, my wife, they all feel important, and I can pause and listen to them, and I don't want to be the just always at the computer, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. It's just sometimes I'll be editing a podcast and I'm like locked in and oh, this is going well. I'm putting nice beer and then I'll get the hey, can you help carry this out of my car? Or it's like, oh,
Man, no, like,
not right now. Like,
right. And flow state is a hard thing to express, until you like, people might think that it might not actually exist, but
yeah.
honestly, flow state when it's like you can be out of flow state and then 2 minutes later you're in it, but it could take you 3 hours to fall into that flow state, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So but when you're in it,
definitely.
you really gotta make hay when the sun is shining, so,
Yeah.
it's good. I hope your wife does show you some leniency, and understand that, that when you're in it, you gotta take advantage. My wife and my family definitely has, like, they understand that when we're locked in, we're locked in, so
Yeah. So your team wise, is it just you and your wife?
pretty much, yeah, it's just me and my wife. She'll mostly do a lot of, like, photo stuff right now, she's
Okay.
not quite as, like, interested in it as I am, but she loves supporting the athletes, she loves, the idea of capturing these moments for the kids too, and her photography is incredible too, she's gone from the person that will go to the game holding a camera and like just being like, whoa, that was crazy, to now really being like, okay, how do I set up this shot, and coming home and I'm like looking at her stuff and like, wow, babe, this is awesome. Being thoroughly impressed and now like, legit people are asking for her and not, for me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
might have to rename our company name pretty soon so that it can be both of us. But yeah, it's really just her and I, and yeah, it's cool to work together like that.
That's super cool, and then you become a fan of her work, and that then you guys can bounce ideas off of each other too.
Oh, yeah.
Does your kids ever try to pick it up?
Definitely, yeah. I've brought my kids on to kind of just play around with the camera. There's no expectation of anything. But one of them is an athlete, and she plays water polo and she paddles, so
Oh,
she's like
wow.
constantly busy. And then our other one, she's also has her own kind of creative outlets. She's a singer, she plays music,
Oh, wow.
this and that. So, but they're very supportive of Shanghai Media, and a lot of their friends are like, wait, your dad is Shanghai Media? Like my name isn't even Shang anymore. Honestly, it's like my name is Shanghai Media. They're like, hey, Shanghai Media, or they call me Uncle Shanghai Media, dude. It's crazy, bro. But so they'll ask them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's my dad," but they're stoked. They're stoked that it's gaining the traction that it has. Yeah,
Yeah, it's super cool, and I feel like you capturing these moments will be etched in somebody's family's lives forever. They'll be showing their kids your video. That must feel amazing.
feels so good, dude. It feels so
Yeah.
good. Like honestly, it's just sometimes it's just like kind of moves to tears. Thinking about um what that what that moment in time kind of meant for the family. You know,
Yeah.
and again, if it does help a family get a scholarship, like I said, that first kid that we filmed for, we started filming for him when he was a sophomore at Kahuku, and he had only just started playing football when he was, I think, a freshman.
Oh,
So he
wow.
was very new to the sport, and he really like took to it. He's a big kid, so he had a lot of physical natural traits, but he really honed his skill, and he ended up getting a scholarship to SMU. His name's
Oh,
Abel.
wow. Oh,
Abel Holtby,
nice.
and SMU is not a cheap school to go to, so he
Yeah.
got a full ride there. He's
Yeah.
succeeding out there. Coaches out there are already, talking about his prospects for the NFL, and it's
Oh,
just like
wow.
it's crazy to think about, to think that we were able to help in any way. If our videos did anything to help promote that,
Yeah.
and shoot, we're so blessed to have that opportunity.
That's super cool. In your future, do you see yourself doing this completely full time?
I do. I would love for that to happen. Like I said, I think um it's fun. It's fun, and we love the opportunity to be able to share these things with the kids. So and again, like I'm working. If I'm not working my day job, I'm working Shanghai media stuff. So I could see that happening. Of course, in Hawaii, it's just a little bit more challenging just because things are so
Yeah.
expensive. You know, so right now it's not there yet, but I can see that happening for sure.
That's crazy. What kind of advice would you give to an up and coming videographer if they were trying to get started and kind of start get serious about it? What would you tell them?
I think I would first of all maybe just say, um, everybody that you meet, try to be a joy to work with. You never know, especially in Hawaii. Um, y- you know, you want to make sure that those bridges are firm and they're built strong. Because you never know who you're gonna need to rely on, whether it be another, maybe another up and coming videographer who is starting off at the same time as him or her. You know, or if you meet an AD, and if you want to continue to have that access, you gotta put yourselves out there and introduce yourself and be a professional, even if you're in high school. A lot of these kids
Yeah,
are starting that young because it's so easy with the equipment that's available these days. But
super cool.
just be open. And I don't know. I sometimes I hold back from offering advice because I'm still kind of sponging off other people myself. You know, And maybe that would be the advice too, though, is just always be a sponge, always
Yeah.
be willing to learn. Um, never feel like you're above a job. Never feel like you're above anybody else, and like I said, just be a joy to work with, and work on your craft and be creative, and everything else will kind of fall into place.
Yep. And that's aloha, and that's what Hawaii is about. Yeah.
100%,
It's
100%.
becoming a kind of a theme nowadays on this show is like the humbleness and supportive of each other, and it's been kind of refreshing. Um Before we go, I was a nightclub promoter for a long time, and I still do some industry work. What have you ever shot nightclubs? Because we have videographers and they catch certain scenes and tell certain stories. I was wondering if you ever had a chance to do that.
I've shot a few concerts. I've shot a few
Okay.
concerts and a few like b-boy competition. I was involved in like this
Oh,
b-boy competition thing, which is like, I don't want to say along the same vein, but just being in that kind of atmosphere, the crowd, feeding off the energy. Because again, but I've seen like there's this one creator here called Taylor Tones. I don't know. I'm sure you might have seen his stuff too,
okay.
but I think he works heavy in a lot of the nightclub scenes, and it's so cool to see the creative stuff that he does. And I'm just like, wow, how does he approach walking into a nightclub and figure out how he's gonna kind
Yeah,
of tell that story,
yeah,
it's not just about making the drinks, or it's not just about the DJ spinning something, it's all about how do people feel being in that spot, so yeah, I think I would love that. I just don't know where I would start. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, yeah,
You mess with drones at all?
I do. Yeah, I've shot a drone. I'm not like a certified pilot, so I don't really like sell any of my drone footage.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've used a drone before, and it's you might not want to use this in your podcast, to be honest with you, bro. I
Oh,
don't know, get me in any kind of trouble, but yeah, I have shot with drones before. Yeah.
yeah. I mess with them, and I'm more stressed out because I know how much mine costs, and like
Which
I'm
one do you
trying
have?
just a Mav Mini,
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, those
and
are right.
yeah, they're pretty cool, but I'm like so focused on not hitting a tree or like.
They're so much fun to fly though. Like
Oh
actually, I'll tell
yeah,
you a story. Me and my buddy, when I first started flying drones, I invited my buddy, and he had a Mavic Pro 3, like $4 or $5,000 drone. And
yeah,
he was like, I'll meet you at Sandy's. We went to Sandy's and we were like flying our drones, and then we were flying it. He sent his off far into the ocean. And then he was like, okay, I'm gonna return it home. The battery's getting kind of low. We're just sitting there talking, and we're talking for like 15, 20 minutes, and we're like, wait, the drone's not back yet. So he checked his camera. The thing was like in the water, dude.
oh
It just somehow like lost track and just crashed in the water. So yeah, that fear has always kind of like, he had that pain, but luckily he had it insured and they sent him a new
yeah,
one. But still, I can understand that fear. It's terrifying to
yeah.
know. Yep.
They're pretty cool with the insurance. I was at a camp and I was kind of panning out from the campsite and kind of pulling out, and I ran mine into a tree. I was too focused on how cool of a shot it was, and then hit a tree, and then it's like, and I'm like running over there trying to catch it, and boom,
Ooh.
hit the ground. It was okay, but it was definitely a stressful moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so fun flying drones though, man. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's cool.
full-on fighter pilot, man.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend had one. He put on goggles and
Oh, okay.
he does all kind of crazy stuff with it,
Yeah,
like cool
yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I'm too chang to take mine to do that stuff. But
No, I mean, drone flying is like a whole 'nother skill set, it's like
yeah,
working but then flying a drone, and then the FPV, the goggle one, that
yeah,
one is a whole 'nother skill set, it's yeah.
yeah. Well, shoot, we've been going for over an hour, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day and taking time away from editing and coming in front of the camera. I really wanted to hear your story and kind of touch base with you just from the videos I've seen. I get so excited, and like I said, that whole Kailua football team, their journey and the what it meant to the Waimanalo community and Kailua community, and for you to capture it the way you did, I hope you know it meant a lot to a lot of people, and it is super cool to talk story with you, man.
Right on, man. I'm honored to hear that. And yeah, for Kailua, it was a long time coming. You know, they've been a team that has been together for years. You know, a lot of those kids have been playing together since they were little kids, and it was you could see that. You know, you could see how they fought for each other. You know, and for every team, you know, every team that we're filming for, all of a sudden becomes like our favorite team. You know,
Yeah.
um, but but anyways, yeah. I mean, thank you for having me. You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
weird and I'm awkward in front of a camera, so this is a very rare occurrence. But I think this is something that, um, you know, we're grateful for the opportunity to be able
Yeah.
to tell our story and make sure that the world knows that we are grateful for being able to capture these moments for the kids.
That's super cool. And just putting it out there, my daughter plays volleyball for Leisure Dawn, and she made vars this past year, and their next 2 years, she has 2 more years left, and they could be something. They got some players. Their coach is one of the best in the state, and or maybe one of the best in the country, and they might have opportunity these next 2 years to get a state run and see what happens. I would love for you to capture that for sure. And of course, I played football for Damien, and we have not had a state championship yet.
Oh,
And if you were to ever capture that, I personally would be more than grateful.
we'll go see some of I have room for Damien a few
Yeah,
times.
I seen some
Yeah,
of it,
okay,
but it
okay.
wasn't a state
Yeah,
championship,
not
that's
a
for
state
sure.
championship. Oh yeah, no, if it happens, regardless if we get hired by a client or not, we're always there to make sure we get the state championship, you know,
Oh, okay.
for the teams, and we want to make sure that you know, they're highlighted this and that. But yeah, I mean, I would love to come film for your daughter, you know, that
Yeah,
sounds awesome. So, you know, throw a word to the coach and let them know that we might show up, and if they're
for
okay with that,
sure.
and you
Yeah.
know, we'd love to make sure we can create something cool for them, you know.
That would be super
What is
cool.
your daughter's
And
name?
Aria
Oh, yeah.
Park.
Okay.
She's the libero.
Nice.
You'll
Okay.
know which is my daughter. She's the littlest one on every court she's on.
Hey, the liberos are like they're always the feisty, you know, the ones that are always everywhere, you know. So,
Yeah. How
yep.
fun was it shooting at Transpac? That thing is a big thing in Hawaii.
Dude, mental, bro. It was crazy. I mean, like my wife told me she was like, because I actually wasn't hired by too many people, so I didn't go for a lot of the time. I only went for
Yeah.
I was reached out by an Alaskan team, like a team coming from
Mm.
Alaska reached out to me. So I shot for them, and then I just shot for an individual who plays for H&L. Anyways,
Okay.
but before that, my wife was like, "Babe, it's they had like a 30-minute special on like KHON about this Transpac thing,"
Yeah.
and man, this thing is huge. You know, I've
Yeah.
been to tournaments like that, and probably I think I was at Transpac last year, but I don't remember it being like, you know, as big as it was this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I see your video. I'm like, what? I was there. I could have met you in person. Oh, one more thing I want to ask you. Was there ever a time where someone kinda got upset because they were on your video? Like, "Oh, I didn't wanna be," and then it's out there on the internet, like, has anyone ever kinda kinda felt like they wish that didn't happen or something like that?
Not I don't think so. I don't no,
Yeah.
nobody's ever really like, you know, I think for sports and for anything that we do, you know, we always want to make sure we put people in the best light, you know? So
Yeah.
we don't put them in there if they're looking crazy, you know, if they got like a
Yeah.
weird expression or and even the way I try to portray it is I try to make like, for example, for Kailua, you know,
Yeah.
the Kailua played against uh
Kapa'a.
Kapaa, they played against
Yeah.
Kapaa, so I don't wanna make Kapaa look bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I wanna make Kailua look great, you know, and so that's kinda where my mindset is. I'm not trying to show some kid getting lit up by somebody, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that happens, you know, I do show
Yeah.
tackle, but I don't
Yeah.
make about this kid getting lit up. I make it about the kid getting the hit, you know, and what kinda happens from there. So, you will see people in there, and I'm sure they're probably, like, not stoked on, you know, being the butt end of that, but, I think for the most part, when people are watching it, they're not like, "Damn, what's his name?" You know, whatever.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
about, you know, the the player that we're trying to highlight or the team that we're trying to highlight. So I think most people, they're not really upset when we put them in the videos.
Oh, that's good.
Thank
You
God.
might, yeah, you might fall into that if you film fighting because somebody's getting hit and
That's a
like,
good point. So I go
yeah.
avoid. Yeah. Are
Oh,
you
right
do
on,
you,
man.
you train or
What is that?
anything or what? Do you
Excuse
train
me?
or
Oh, I
you
used to compete. I did taekwondo, kickboxing back when I was younger, and yeah, I wish I had someone like you doing this. We didn't. I mean, I hate to say it, but at my age when I was doing that, we were lucky to have a digital camera. Like-
That's what you hear a lot, man. Honestly, like the parents are always like, "Man, I wish you were around when I was
Oh
playing."
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially well, I'm glad you weren't around when I was playing football because the highlight videos would be from me getting lit up. But
Oh
No.
no.
but like I said, these moments you're capturing will be etched in some of these kids' lives forever, and they'll be like I can say it, like, oh, I remember this time I did this in one of my tournaments, or I did this, and now these kids be like, oh, remember that? Yup, right here, I can show you. And like I said, like if I could show my daughter things that I've did in my sporting career, I I would be so stoked. And I mean, she can show her kids what she's doing, and yeah, you're giving these kids a clip of life that they'll never get back that they can share forever. And I hope you know that that's very important, bro. It's super cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're definitely learning and blessed to hear that kind of feedback
Yeah,
from parents and athletes and things like that. So yeah.
right on. Where can people find you on Instagram or social media, and where can people find you to hire you?
Oh, okay. So we're on Instagram as at Shang_Hi_Media. And then we have a website, shanghaimedia.com. And we have like a inquiry tab in there. So if they want to submit an inquiry or they can DM me through Instagram, sometimes that's easy. Those are probably just the easiest channels to get in touch with me.
And for us, as always, you can find us at Above the Bridge Podcast on Instagram, YouTube. Our website is atbpod.com, and my personal Instagram, Thaddy Daddy Hi. Well, man, we've been going for over an hour. I appreciate you coming on, and you probably got to get back to editing. So, shakas for the cameras.
Appreciate you, brother.
Right on. We're out. Shout out to Artist Group Network. Aloha.